This is the HS Game Time Roundup with Pep Fernandez. Powered by Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac. Standards for excellence.
We're kicking off the HSGT Roundup with a key Wednesday night high school football battle. I'm Pep Fernandez. Moreno Valley in desperate need of a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They took on Vista Del Lago in Inland Valley League action. The Vikings need a victory to stay in playoff contention. Hey, it's Dave Zink and his crew working the game. I'm kidding, that's a Zink look-alike. First quarter, the Ravens strike first. Brandon Gomez boots one through the uprights, and Vista Del Lago goes on top 3-zip. But later in the opening frame, the Ravens back to punt. And on the other end of this kick is the Vikings' Pitana Siaosi. The Vista Del Lago lead is gone just like that. Siaosi, the house call. Motown up 8-3 after a 2-point conversion. It wasn't super cold Wednesday night, but a tank top was a bad choice. Second quarter, the Vikings set sail down the field. Steven Scroggins finds Chris Coleman for the score, 15-3, Moreno Valley. Later in the second, Vista Del Lago with the ball. Matthew Evans comes up with the pick and does the splits. Ouch! It looked painful, but Evans would stay in the game. The Vikings back in business after the turnover. Scroggins hooks up with Siaosi on the deep ball. Mo Valley deep in Ravens territory. That means Talia time. Emiria Talia scampers through the paint, and the Vikings extend their lead to 22-3. Later in the second quarter, the Ravens' woes on offense continue. Taliuaki Suliafu, bless you. Suliafu with the interception and the nice return following the INT. And that would set up another Moreno Valley score before the break. Talia time. The Vikings take a 28-3 lead into halftime. Third quarter, Talia rips off another touchdown run, and this one's longer than Kim Kardashian's marriage. Talia, will you take this touchdown? I do. 35-3 Vikes, still in the third. No cold feet for Talia. How about one more touchdown, number 4 in the game? Moreno Valley goes on to win 42-9 to remain in the playoff hunt, but they still need help to clinch a spot. It's that time of the year again when high school athletes sign on the dotted line. National Letter of Intent Day, and 5 Poly Bears signed scholarships at a ceremony on campus Wednesday morning. Leading the way was baseball star R.J. Ibarra, who signed with Arizona State. Softball standout Diamond Ponds is headed to Hampton. Volleyball is taking Alyssa Droxland to Temple University in Philadelphia. Golfer Eric Cross signed with Cal State Fullerton, and 2-time Big 8 League champ Amy Strait will be golfing at Sonoma State. Congratulations to the Poly Bears. The UC Riverside baseball team landed 4 of the top players in the Inland Empire. La Sierra's Matt Ellis, Zach Gimiola from Great Oak, Yucaipa's Tanner Keast, and Tyler Musgraves from Centennial will all be playing in their own backyard for the hometown Highlanders. The high school volleyball playoffs roll on Thursday night, and our resident volleyball expert, Louis Amistoy, has more on the matchups.
Well, hey everybody, Louis Amistoy here, and talking about girls high school volleyball CIF playoffs underway, and a big night on Tuesday as we open the first round of the playoffs. Not a great night, but there were some bright spots. Let's go ahead and look at some of the facts from the night. Area teams were just 17-26 in the first round of the playoffs. 20 of the 26 losses were by sweep. Big 8 Sunbelt champions went out in the first round. But the 5AA was a bright spot. A lot of the small schools had a 5-2 record. We'll get to that in a moment. Some of the big games that we're going to be tracking. Now, with some of the obvious ones, obviously Yucaipa at Moreno Valley in the Division 1A playoffs. But I want to keep an eye on Western at Cajon, Colony at Harupa Valley, Patriot at Ocean View. Those are some of our best hopes in those divisions. And then South Torrance at Santiago in the 2AA is another one to keep an eye on. That's the number 1 seed, South Torrance, taking on Santiago. Now, South Torrance had some trouble, and we'll get to that here in a minute. All right, let's move right along to the Division 1A bracket right now. And you see right there at the bottom of the bracket, number 4 ranked Vista Murrieta taking on Notre Dame Academy. That's at Notre Dame Academy. The winner will play Saturday against either Anaheim Canyon or Saugus to decide to be determined. Now, Notre Dame Academy had to go to 5 games against Los Osos, the Baseline League champion. Vista Murrieta won their match in 3. Vista Murrieta 29-7 on the season. Lower half of the bracket, Murrieta Valley at Yucaipa, a big matchup. 21-12 Murrieta Valley plays host to 24-3 Yucaipa, the Citrus Belt League champions. The winner of that match, though, a huge order, playing Laguna Beach or Valencia in the next round in the quarterfinals. All right, moving on now 2AA. As we mentioned, Santiago playing host to number 1 ranked South Torrance. South Torrance now 28-5 on the year, but they did go 4 games against Monrovia. Maybe that's a slight surprise there. Maybe it shows some weakness for South Torrance, but it's still a big order against the number 1 ranked team in the 2AA. 3A, Rim of the World, ranked number 1, and for good reason, taking on Garden Grove up in Rim. Lake Arrowhead, Rim of the World 22-9 in the season. Garden Grove 12-6. But I want to point out at the bottom of the bracket, Arrowhead Christian out of the Ambassador League taking on number 4 seeded Windward, ACA 13-9, Windward 16-7. Lower half of this bracket, La Sierra had to go 5 games last night, as Pep Fernandez can attest to. But they're 21-3. They're going to play Northview, which is 12-8. Calvary Murrieta on the other half of that bracket playing at Brentwood. They're a tough matchup there. Calvary Murrieta 17-4. Brentwood 18-7. All right, moving on now to Hemet. They are on the road against Gladstone. No problems for the Bulldogs against Kern Valley. Hemet now 19-5 on the season. Gladstone just 12-5. Hemet should advance. They would play the quarterfinals against either Alverno or Bell Jeff, which could be a surprisingly tough game. But Hemet was the only bright spot out of that league. They were just out of that division. We were only 1-4 in that division. The rest of Hemet's Mountain Pass League teams were eliminated. All right. 5AA, a lot of action here. Mesa Grande Academy, which is 12-5 in the season, taking on 20-3 Lake Arrowhead Christian. That should be an interesting matchup. Redlands Adventist will play host to Calvary Chapel Downey. Redlands Adventist now 11-7 on the season. Desert Christian Academy, the 3 seed in the division, will play host to Temecula Prep, which is 13-10 on the year. And Newview Bridge, which beat Avalon, will play at Rolling Hills Prep. Newview Bridge is 15-3. So that is the way the volleyball season looks so far here into the CIF playoffs. All the matches start at 7 o'clock, but check here on HS Game Time to make sure those times are correct, because times have been known to change here. So now for more high school sports, back to Pep Fernandez.
Thanks, Lewis. A busy night of volleyball on Thursday night, plus also a full slate of high school football, the final week of the regular season. So clear out your schedule on Thursday night. Mark your social calendars, because we have a special Thursday night edition of HS Game Time Live with all your high school football highlights. For the HSGT Roundup, I'm Pep Fernandez.